Hey everybody, and welcome to Northernlion Plays Skulls of the Shogun. This is gonna make a kind of an interesting let's play or gameplay commentary, depending on the way you want to brand it, because this is basically the best way you can probably think of it if you're a fan of the channel or if you're familiar with the modern landscape of gaming, is that this is a downloadable feudal Japanese themed version of XCOM Enemy Unknown. Basically, it's a strategy game, it's turn-based, it's squad-based. It's very interesting so far. I am playing the Xbox 360 version. This is available, I believe, for Windows 8 and Windows phones, but I'm not too sure of the landscape of things there. But anyway, we are going to play through the campaign here. Again, if you're a fan of games like XCOM Enemy Unknown or Hero Academy, for example, you're probably going to be very into this. We're going to start a new campaign that is going to delete all of my current campaign progress and stats. That's okay. It hurts a little bit, but it's okay. And we're going to be dealing with the story. I haven't mentioned too much about the story yet, because I'd rather let the game just explain itself. By the way, any frame rate quirks you see are simply an example of the game itself. Unfortunately, it is not my technical issue. It is the Xbox 360's for whatever reason. I guess it's getting a little bit older. So we are playing as a Shogun who is currently in the realm of the living, and most of this is going to be shown through text. So I guess I should read the subtitles just for those of you who are not watching along at home. Perhaps you're listening and trying to fall asleep. This is going to be our character right here. Unfortunately, after experiencing the victory of battle, he is stabbed in the back by someone who is on scene as of yet. But believe me, the intrigue will slowly unravel as we get a little bit further into the game. This game actually is pretty heavily story-focused. It's not so much like an emergent story, almost like XCOM Enemy Unknown almost has like an emergent story that the creator, or the player kind of creates as they move along. To a certain extent, anyway. This one is much more of a scripted kind of narrative. So basically, we are playing as this feudal general who was trying to become the Shogun of Japan, which was like the supreme leader back in the feudal times. And now he is taking the boat to the afterlife. That is the gate to the afterlife right there. And as you can see, that lineup is long. But I hear if you bring some hot chicks with you, it's not nearly as long. In any case, we're going to get started here. The game is broken up into a series of levels. Don't think that that was just the opening cutscene there. I mean, it was, but there's going to be more story once we get involved here. I'm thinking that for the setup of these videos, or the structure of these videos, we're probably going to be able to do 2 levels per video. This might be an exception. We might only be able to do 1 in this video because the tutorial is fairly long, but it's also fairly essential to give you guys and myself kind of a refresher course or an introductory course into the actual mechanics of the game. But if you're familiar with turn-based, squad-based strategy games, a lot of this is going to be fairly apparent to you fairly early on. So we should have some dialogue soon. So our guy is confused. What is this place? Am I dead? Well, it certainly looks like it. I mean, I guess when you die, you retain your mustache, which is really the most important part. All right, fella, line of the afterlife forms to the right. Let's keep it moving. I am no fella. You will address me as either the General Akamoto or the Great General Akamoto. Apologies for my terrible voice work, by the way. All right, apparently this guy's Emperor Fancy Pants IV of the Magical Mushroom Kingdom. There's lots of references to other games and various cultures that I'll try to point out as I see them, which will completely ruin the joke for those of you who already get it. But hopefully we'll make it a little bit more accessible as well. So we're fighting this dude. This is basically the tutorial of the game, which makes up probably the longest level I've played so far. I've played like 2 hours of this, and the tutorial is by far the longest level I've been a part of here. So we're in round 1. Basically, the way that it works is we have this interface, and it's going to introduce things to us very gradually. What we can do, we're selecting our unit, and we can order it here. We can cause him to move around, and this circle that we have right here, like the larger circle outside of us that is not changing radius, is how far we can move in a single turn. The circle in the middle is how far we can move after we take an action, like attacking, for example. So if I stand here and then attack, like so, this will actually kill him. But the circle that was kind of changing in radius represents how far I can move after attacking. But we'll see that later. Anyway, so we have murdered that guy. You can see his skull on the ground, I should say. That's, you know, the namesake of the game. Plus that sweet stash. That last guy didn't have that. It's true. So as we go along here, General Akamoto, our protagonist, kind of an anti-hero in this situation, is going to amass a ragtag group of soldiers who are going to help him out, and these soldiers will have various different types. So we're recruiting. They're pretty pissed off. That skull is still talking, which worries me. Being dead twice has got to suck. That's some Beetlejuice shit right there. So again, this is squad-based, so we have the opportunity. We do have action points, but those aren't visible right now. I'll show those off in a second when we get further into the tutorial, I guess. But we do have different unit types here. So we have infantry, cavalry, and our general here. So infantry usually has very high defense, but unfortunately, we can't get close enough So what we're actually going to do is just kind of like put him in front of the general here, or close enough to the general. Cavalry has a huge range, and if we attack this guy, we will be counterattacked as well, unfortunately, because we're within his range. Flags show a unit's health, so you can see we have 6 health, he has 5, and it's going to take 2 off of each of us if we do this attack. So we're going to do that risk style, and he will take some damage, and we should be able to move the cavalry after this, so we are going to just put him like right here for now. And then we're going to take our general, and we're going to move him up here where he should be able to, he's not going to be able to kill the guy, but he will be able to do some damage. Now, if our general dies, we lose, so I should be a little bit more cautious. And now I'm just going to put my general behind our infantry here. It probably won't protect me. It wasn't very good. It probably won't protect me from being hit, but that's not going to be too much of a big deal right here at the start of the game, because again, this is just a tutorial. So we'll probably take a little bit of damage here. Our infantry managed to kill the guy, and this will heal all of our units, which doesn't always happen, but will happen throughout the tutorial, and we'll be able to move on here. So we are making our way to the line to the 4 seasons of the glorious afterlife. Every dead samurai has to wait in line to be judged. Unfortunately, as we will soon find out, we are going to be in line for quite a long time. But first, we're going to have to murder this dude. We picked up another unit at some point along the line, and this is the game's way of actually tutorializing the knockback feature of the game, which XCOM did not have for the most part, so these guys are going to get behind the rocks. You probably understand how the rocks work from a strategic perspective, I should say. Basically, we can't like attack through rocks, they're going to act as some cover. However, we can just move behind and attack this way, and this will allow us to basically knock the unit into the drink here. So by doing so, he will die instantly. And General Akimoto stole my line. And again, they're tutorializing all of this. So a lot of the dialogue is genuinely quite funny, but I'm skipping over some of it because I don't want to be here for 20 minutes. So we're just going to go attack this dude. We're going to do 3, he's going to do 1. Different units have different strengths against one another. So I think that cavalry is good at attacking against cavalry. And, you know, there will be other interactions that we'll see as we move along, and we get introduced to more and more units. He's going to attack the general, which is actually a very smart decision, because, again, if our general dies, it's like killing the king in a game of chess, or checkmating the king, I guess I should say. You lose the game. So if you, or I guess you win the game if you checkmate the opponent's king, but in any case. So we see these lanterns. Welcome to the shores of the dead, fallen warrior. You sound like Toad. The line for the glorious afterlife starts right here. I can't do this anymore. I want to hurt myself. Approximate wait time from this point is 512 years. Unfortunately, I don't have that kind of time, and neither does General Akimoto. How long have you been waiting in line, soldier? Oh, man, I don't know, 20 years, give or take. Can you imagine if somebody gave you that reaction in real life? Hey, man, how long is the line at Starbucks? Oh, I don't know, 20 years? I was a young man when I lined up. Now I've got 4 kids and a mortgage. That's offensive. Young people can have mortgages as well. In any case, skipping by the dialogue here. Basically, it's all General Akimoto. Wah, I'm a general. Guards. Whoa, what's up with this dick bag? And I believe this actually might be our final fight here in the tutorial, but it's going to be a substantially longer one than we've dealt with so far. So we're going to get another infantry and another cavalry here. We'll be introduced to more and more units as we move along, so don't think that we just have, like, 3 different unit types, general, cavalry, and infantry. It's kind of similar to XCOM and you know, most turn-based, squad-based strategy games, etc., etc. We're gonna have like kind of melee units, ranged units, units with a huge amount of movement, and then very strong kind of like tank units, if that makes any sense, as well as support classes. But in any case, this doesn't matter. Yes, I understand if I die, that's the end for all of us. So we're just gonna zoom out and take a look at the map here. So we've got infantry down there at the bottom. We have some cavalry, and we have some cavalry and another infantry up at the top. So this should be fairly easy for us to take care of. And this is where we're going to really get introduced to the concept of spirit walls, which I'll explain, and kind of like unit positioning, which is of the utmost importance. So these infantry have 3 defense, as you can see. That makes them the highest defense units that we have, except for our general, who obviously we don't want to take damage. So we're going to use these infantry as we stack them up here as kind of a wall. And you can form a spirit wall, which is that red kind of circle that's Venn diagramming between these 2 guys. And enemy units cannot move past the spirit wall. So we can use this to kind of create a... Excuse me. Yes, I know. We can use this to create kind of a barricade that enemy units should not be able to traverse. And we will just move maybe like the cavalry up here as well. So the enemy units are not going to be able to get by this, which means the units behind the spirit wall are totally protected. And this should give us, you know, we're probably going to take some damage, as you can see here, but this should give us a very good defense to keep our general, at the very least, alive until we can do some more damage. We really want to have, like, multiple sources doing a lot of damage to a single target during a single turn in order to kill an enemy, especially as we get further and further along, and we'll see things like enemy healers and whatnot. But in any case, let's take our infantry here. That's not our infantry. Let's take our infantry here. This guy has 4, so let's do the damage with the guy with 6 first. So we'll put him here. That'll do 3 damage to the cavalry, and we'll only take 1 damage ourselves, which is awesome. And then we do have the opportunity to move a little bit, so we'll reestablish our spirit wall as wide as it can go. We'll take this unit now, move him slightly down here. And when an enemy winces, by the way, like you can see here, that means they can't counterattack. In this case, the guy is not going to be able to counterattack because he's going to be dead. And there is a percentage chance of hitting him. This is when they get a little bit further out of range. So I'm going to move closer to kind of guarantee that we hit him. But oftentimes, especially for ranged units, that percentage chance is a very important modifier to keep in mind. So let's just form the spirit wall again, like so. I am going to... Excuse me. This guy's still alive. Oh, they're introducing the next very important gameplay mechanic here, by the way. The other reason it's called Skulls of the Shogun, as General Akamoto says, anything in, like, text that is colored is very important. Eat that skull, so we can actually send a unit up here, like this infantry right here who's hurt. He can go eat this skull. If we eat this, we'll gain 2 health back. So let's do that. Additionally, we will get +2 max health. So actually, I guess we gained 3 health there. I didn't expect that. But by eating that skull, we get the skull around us. It gives us +2 max health. Oh, and it heals 3 HP. That's my bad. I didn't realize that from a mechanic standpoint. Now, if we get 3 skulls, something very interesting will happen, but we can't talk about that just yet. We'll wait until that comes, and we will form another defensive wall here. The cavalry is not what we want to form the defensive wall with for the most part, but our infantryman was a little bit far out there. But we're going to be focusing on trying to get units to 3 skulls, which kind of is like a promotion in XCOM is probably the easiest way to describe it. I keep referring to XCOM. If you're a new viewer of the channel, you're probably not going to know what I'm talking about unless you played Enemy Unknown yourself, but I'm assuming that a lot of people watching this watched the XCOM series on my channel when I did it last fall. But in any case, we're just going to continue onwards here. When we destroy these guys, we should get through to the end of the tutorial, I think. Okay, so let me think about this for a second. We have our infantry here with another skull. The thing is, eating a skull requires the use of an action, which is going to be annoying for us because we want to like kill an enemy and eat the skull in the same turn, if that makes sense. We can also use the skulls not just for kind of promotion stuff, but we could use it to just heal our enemies as well. Okay, so we're going to use our cavalry to destroy their cavalry. That skull is going to be there. Now what we should probably do is take our infantryman down here who already has 1 skull, then move up here and eat this skull, and then he's got enough movement, I think, to get back into that spirit wall, because we really want to keep our general protected. He could probably be killed, it's close. He could probably be killed in a couple of turns. Oh yes, okay, again, the 3rd skull, I already foreshadowed that, don't worry about it too much. So we're going to just bust up this infantry here. We'll probably take 2 damage ourselves. No, just 1, that's fine. I should probably just look at the flags next time before we do that. But again, just forming the spirit wall. We have 1 more movement. By the way, that's our overall like action points up there at the top. Unlike XCOM, the unit or action points are not tied to your units, they're tied to your squads. So no matter how many units you have, you can only take 5 actions maximum, and units themselves can only take 1 or sometimes, in a special case, 2 actions per turn, depending on some special conditions that I'll talk about a little bit later. Anyway, we're just going to continue onwards here. We've got a decent spirit wall. I'm pretty sure the enemy cavalry is not going to be able to get through here and attack our general, which is good. Our general does do pretty good damage in his own right, but he's not as strong yet as he will be a little bit later in the game. So we're just going to focus on killing these enemies, eating the skulls, and if I can get that 3rd skull up, you're going to see the value. Oh, we actually lost a unit of our own there. But if I get that 3rd skull up on that infantry, you will see the value of having 3 skulls and eating skulls in general. So we're not supposed to eat the skulls of our own teammates, as you can see. He's saying it's disgusting. Oh, so it's cool to eat the enemy skulls, but eating your own skulls, not cool, apparently. So there's a skull available, so we should just eat that with our infantrymen, assuming that he lives through this turn, which indeed he is going to do. Beautiful, so we're going to enter our 9th round here. Again, things will start moving much faster as we get further and further into the game. This is just the tutorial here. So first things first, take our infantrymen. We're going to eat this skull, and this will give us a 3rd skull, and it will transform our infantrymen into a demon. So demons actually get 2 actions per turn. So instead of only being able to do like 1 attack. They could either do 2 attacks, they could eat 2 skulls, they could haunt 2 shrines, which we'll talk about a little bit later. These guys, let's go for the cavalry here. Yeah, they could do 1 attack and eat 1 skull, etc., etc. But now he is done for this turn. But he has a lot of health, so we're going to kind of use him as a damage sponge almost. This guy is still alive. I'm hurt so bad my attack is weakened, but I can still fight. We can attack this guy and kill him, but actually what we should do, let's cancel our move. I got a better strategy here. Let's use this cavalryman here. We'll kill this dude. We should be able to move back to form our defensive line here, like so. And then we'll take our cavalry, come up here and eat this skull, which will heal us a little bit. Like I said, when units are hurt a little bit, they do less damage overall. So it's good to keep your units as healthy as possible. This infantry is doing okay, so why don't we just have him do an attack here. We might as well. We're going to take 1 damage. He's going to take 2. That seems like a fair trade, in my opinion. And we are slowly whittling down the enemy defenses here, so let's hang out. We could almost move our general up a little bit if we wanted to, but I think we're totally fine in this situation. So let's just end our turn. Even though we have 1 order remaining, all of the units that we had already, you know, done their work, so there's not much else for us to do. We might lose another unit here. If they attack our infantry, he should die, and indeed he does. But with our demons, we should be able to basically kill all of the enemies right away, so I'm not too worried about this. Our general is still doing okay. We have cavalry. Let's take our infantry. And how are these guys doing for health? This guy has 4, this guy has 4. Alright, so we definitely will be able to kill at least one of these guys this turn. I don't want to do 80%. I want to do 100%. And maybe we'll take our... Oh, man, we've got 2 more units. I totally forgot about this. By the way, Skulls of the Shogun, surprisingly effing hard. This game seriously will get on your ass if you make mistakes. However, we're just learning camera controls right now. We do get our first ranged unit here, and again, this is all scripted, tutorialized stuff. The archers are probably the most valuable class, again, like the snipers in XCOM Enemy Unknown. And they will allow us to do a lot of range damage without actually taking much damage ourselves. So again, we're just going to form the line here. Using this guy, we can do some damage to this infantry. And then we could either kill him on this turn, or we could eat a skull with our other dude. And I think, actually what we'll do, why don't we use our archer to kill this dude, and then we can have our other cavalry eat the skull. And that should be okay for us. Sorry, I just got distracted for a second there. Let's go down here. And we'll take our cavalry. We'll have him eat this skull. Like so. And he will get more HP, and he'll only be 1 skull away. He can't eat the second skull on this turn. He'll only be 1 skull away from turning into a demon. So let's leave him here. And then that should be the end of the turn. Unless, you know, I might as well at this point move my general up a little bit. Let's just move him up behind us here. And by leaving him there, we should be in a position to basically kill all these guys at once. Because my unit cannot be killed by having, like, ranged attacks. Or, like, my ranged unit cannot be killed by any of these cavalry because they can't get up here. So usually it's nice to start a turn just by having the ranged unit do some serious damage. They usually do 3 to 4. Sometimes they will do 5 against units with low defense. Then we should maybe have our infantry demon come out here. He should be able to slaughter this dude in 1 turn. Beautiful. Now that there's a bunch of skulls on the ground, what I'm thinking we should do is take this guy, eat this skull, become a demon, and then do some damage to this infantryman right here. And he will be able to hit him and be able to do 2 damage. Becoming a demon usually doesn't improve your attack, but it does improve your survivability as you get more health. And then we'll take this cavalry, he's a little bit low on health. We'll have him eat this skull. He's probably not going to become a demon anytime soon, but he is at the very least going to have substantial power relative to the other dudes. He can't move at all, so we should probably just end this turn. Again, we could move our general up a little bit. Why not? Doesn't really matter at this point. It's 5-on-1. We should be A-okay. So this guy is going to do something. He's probably going to regret it, is my guess. Because he's going to be trapped, like, right in the middle of us right now. And I think our archer is going to be able to basically one-shot him here. So let's move up to our archer. By the way, it does save at the end of every turn, so in case you make a terrible mistake, you can just restart at the checkpoint. We won. He's impressed. Wait until I find my other sword. You haven't seen anything yet. Now let's move out. It's true, General Akimoto will become more and more powerful as the game goes on. But in any case, that is going to mark the end of our first mission and probably the end of the first episode of Skulls of the Shogun here. Let's just see what we've got here. We can check out our leaderboard position. I'm in 28th in the world, apparently. Believe me, I don't deserve that. But we can check out our stats at the end. We attacked 22 times, 0 hauntings. We'll talk about that later. Demons, skulls eaten, kills, etc., etc. We didn't get any of the golden skulls. Those are basically for doing better on a mission or accomplishing certain conditions, like, for example, beating the level without losing any units. Unfortunately, I don't have the capabilities of doing that. So I just hit A to continue, and we should be able to go to the next level here. But given the time that we're at in this episode, I'm going to cut it short for now. Again, as always, thank you guys for watching. I always like when you guys check out and support new series of mine. And I'm having a lot of fun with this game so far. I really love these turn-based, squad-based strategy games. So in any case, I hope you enjoyed and liked what you saw. And I will see you guys next time in episode 2 of Skulls of the Shogun. Thanks for watching.